In 2021, a man named Daniel moved into a small house outside a quiet town in Ohio with his wife and their newborn daughter. The house wasn't old. There was no dark history attached to it. It looked completely normal. At first, everything seemed perfect, until the baby monitor started picking up something strange, something that shouldn't have been there. Daniel worked night shifts. Most nights, his wife Emma stayed alone with their daughter. One night around 2:30 a.m., Emma heard a man's voice coming through the baby monitor. Not loud, not clear, just a whisper. At first she thought it was interference, maybe another monitor nearby, maybe a radio signal. But then she heard the voice again. This time it said, "She's awake." Emma immediately ran to the nursery. Their daughter was sleeping peacefully. Nobody was inside. Nothing was out of place. She told Daniel the next morning. He laughed it off until he heard it himself. A few nights later, Daniel was home. Both of them were watching TV downstairs when the monitor suddenly crackled. A male voice slowly whispered, "Turn around." The room went silent. Daniel looked at Emma. Emma looked at Daniel. Neither of them had spoken. The voice wasn't familiar, and it definitely wasn't coming from the television. Daniel rushed upstairs. Nobody. Every door locked. Every window closed. The nursery was empty, except for the baby. Sleeping. The next day, Daniel checked the monitor's settings. Everything looked normal. Still, he changed the passwords and updated the firmware. For a few days, nothing happened. Then things got worse. One night, Daniel woke up around 3:14 a.m. The monitor beside the bed was making a strange static noise. He picked it up. At first he heard breathing. Slow, heavy breathing. Then a voice, very quietly. "I'm standing behind you." Daniel froze. His heart nearly stopped. He slowly turned around. The bedroom was empty. Emma was asleep next to him. Nothing was there. Yet the breathing continued through the monitor for another 10 seconds. Then silence. The next morning, Daniel installed security cameras around the house. Front door, backyard, hallways, every entrance. He wanted proof, something logical, something real. 3 nights later, he got it, and he immediately wished he hadn't. At exactly 3:07 a.m., one of the hallway cameras detected movement. Daniel reviewed the footage the next morning. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then he noticed a shadow, a human-shaped figure standing at the end of the hallway, completely still, watching the nursery door. The figure remained there for almost 2 minutes, then suddenly disappeared. Not walked away, not faded, just gone. The camera showed nobody entering or leaving. Daniel contacted the camera company. They blamed a software glitch, but Daniel wasn't convinced, because that same night, the monitor recorded something even stranger. For the first time, it captured audio, actual audio. The recording began with silence, then footsteps, slow footsteps across the nursery floor. One step, then another, then another. A few seconds later, a voice whispered, "I found her." The recording ended. Daniel and Emma packed bags immediately. They left the house that afternoon. Neither of them wanted to spend another night there. But before leaving, Daniel checked the attic one last time, just to be sure nobody had been hiding inside. What he found terrified him. Near the back wall was an old cardboard box. Inside were dozens of photographs, all taken inside their house. Some were years old. Some looked recent. Very recent. One photograph showed the nursery, taken through the doorway. At night, after they had moved in, the police investigated. No fingerprints, no suspects, no explanation. The photos seemed to appear from nowhere. Eventually, the case went cold. Months later, the family moved across the state. They bought a new home, new cameras, new monitors, everything brand new. For a while, life returned to normal. Then one night, Daniel received a notification from the baby monitor app. The monitor had activated, even though it wasn't supposed to be recording. Confused, he opened the live feed. The room was empty, dark, silent. Then a familiar voice whispered, "I found you again." Daniel immediately shut off the phone, and according to him, he never turned the monitor on again.